Gosh. So how has the science and art of firefighting and maybe controlled burns, so forest management with fire, how have those things changed since you first started, or have they changed?
Oh, changed tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with prescribed fire. When we first started with prescribed fire, and when I started, in the dark ages, because that was like 40 some years ago, there weren't as many regulations for smoke management. There weren't as many regulations on what you had to do to implement a burn.
Mm-hmm.
So you could experiment more. You actually got to take the science that you learned in classes, take the science that you learned on computers, because they were pretty rare to use computers at that time, and then try to figure out how does that work on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be one of these people. The computer says, this is the window for burning, and this is the fuel temperatures you should be burning at. Okay, great. I go out there and measure everything. Yep, we're in the window. And then I go walking across the slash, and I'd snap twigs and go in all through it and go, yes, it really is ready to burn.
Okay.
So you could take the science and the art and blend them together, and you got to play with it more. So we were just getting into what we call the designer clear cuts, where you made them look like, avalanche slides or something, so they weren't so square.
Got it. Yes.
But for burning, that was a nightmare. Well, we learned to convective burn. So you start lighting over here, but then you light in the middle and you start pulling the flames back.
Sure.
So that we didn't kill the residual trees.
Wow.
We got really good at it. You could make that column go wherever you wanted. You just had to pick the right day. And that's what we got really good at, is picking the right day.
Okay.
Nowadays, so our burn plan was 3 pages.
Wow.
3 total pages. The burn plan now is 23, 28, 20 something. It's huge.
Wow.
Okay, by the time you go through the briefing on 3 pages, you're drawing in the dirt. Everybody's like, oh yeah, I get it. Okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And you got a good framework going. By the time you get through 28 pages, everybody's asleep. And you have to do individual small briefings. And everybody, it's amazing, because I helped the Nature Conservancy do their learning exchanges, which is prescribed fire for all sorts of entities. It's not just agency entities. And we give people experience as being a firefighter, 1, 2, squad boss, crew boss, all those kinds of things, and to get their prescribed burn quals.
Okay.
So a lot of the young people there, I was briefing them one day, and I'm drawing in the dirt, and they're like, wow. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't need a pencil. We're just going to draw. And they're taking pictures. And I'm like, no, just go burn. So it's just the technology, the differences, they're just hilarious in some ways, but they're really advanced in others. Yeah. It's harder for people to learn how to actually use fire to do what you want as well, when you have so many restrictions on you. And we got those restrictions legitimately. I mean, we lost some burns. I mean, Southern Cal lost one and burned part of San Diego. It didn't go over well. The Mac Lake fire in Michigan wiped out the entire town. Not a good thing.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, so we need to find some middle ground in there. Because it's very difficult when you have your wildlife biologists, your stream hydrologists, you have all these people that want you to do certain things, and you're over here trying to balance all these objectives, and 2/3 of them conflict.
Yeah.
So you have to work with that agency administrator to get everything to work together, and then put it into this huge format. After you've coordinated with smoke management to see if you even have a burn day. Wow. So like when I was chief on the Tahoe, it would take us, we get maybe 50 acres a day on the west side.
Wow.
Because that's all smoke management would allow us, because, everybody else is burning too. So we have to loosen some of those up. I mean, at some point, we're going to have to either let it burn like it's doing, or we're going to have to get out there and be defensive about it. And we need to burn across landscapes, not ownership. And that's what I like about what the Nature Conservancy does right now.
Sure.
Suppression on the other side, up until about the mid to late 80s, good God, it was fairly wet every year, all over the place. So large fires were not very common. They were a once in a lifetime event. Now they're an every year event. When I first started, to go to a 10-acre fire was a big deal. As an IC, 100,000 acre fire is not a big deal.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And early in my career, it would have been a mammoth deal.